Okay, so the other day I posted a short on my channel and I got a reply. Studio G DSR says, Rhett, you should do a video on maple versus rosewood fretboards. I feel like there's a big difference in tone, but people hardly ever talk about it. And then, of course, it devolved into an argument about tone woods and tone wood propaganda, as it always does with guitar players on the internet. But I thought this was a really good idea, so we're actually going to test it today. I reached out to Sweetwater and asked them to send me a guitar and 2 different necks, and they kindly did. So they're sponsoring today's episode. Thank you to Sweetwater for that. I will have affiliate links in the description to the guitar, the different necks, and other stuff that we use to make today's video. It's a great way to support the channel if you like what I'm doing here. Also, quick note, please subscribe. Still, according to the analytics, over 60% of the people that watch this channel normally aren't subscribed, and it does really help me out when you hit that subscribe button, so thank you. So the guitar I had them send out is the Fender American Vintage 2 Stratocaster in Fiesta Red. It's got a rosewood fingerboard, the slab rosewood fingerboard, which is vintage correct for the period. It's a ringer guitar. I wanted to go with something like a Strat or a Tele because it's easy to swap the necks out and keep the rest of the guitar essentially the same. Now for the necks themselves, I actually got 2. The first is a maple neck. This is actually a 50s road worn maple neck. So it is slightly relict. The back of the neck is nice and matte finish, as is the fingerboard. But it is just a straight ahead maple neck. Whereas the second one that I picked up is roasted maple. Now this one does have a lacquer finish on the fingerboard, more like a typical maple neck does. And I'm just curious to see if there is any difference in sound or feel or tone between these necks. What's the difference between regular maple and roasted maple? I figured since we're testing it, we might as well give it a shot. Now, in case you didn't know, Sweetwater actually has a whole team and department of luthiers and guitar techs. So what they actually did for me was set both necks up for the guitar. They installed the same vintage tuners on each neck, and then they actually took both of these maple necks and installed them on this Stratocaster and got them set up for the guitar. The nut slots are all filed correctly, so ideally we should just be able to unbolt the stock neck and bolt both of these on and not have to do any kind of setup work because folks at Sweetwater already did it for me. Thank you for that. And I will say on that note, whoever did the setup on this Strat knows what they're doing because this thing is dialed in. I mean, it's like perfect. So to whoever you are, great job. And then one other little interesting note is the necks have the date of manufacture stamped on the back of them. Today is May 8th of 2024. This was made on May 7th of 2021. So this neck is exactly 3 years and 1 day old. So yeah, happy birthday. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this. I've got my Port City Granville set up. I've got it mic'd up with an Austrian Audio OD5 and a Sennheiser MD421. We're going straight into my Tascam Model 24 and then into Logic. I'm not gonna be using any pedals or any outboard gear. We're plugging straight into the front of the amp. Amp settings are not changing. The only thing in the setup that is going to change are the necks themselves. So we're going to try and isolate as many variables as possible so that we can actually hear, is there any real difference in the sound of the guitar from the neck? I have my thoughts, but I will wait to share them. Okay, so we just finished with the rosewood neck, and what's cool is I'm actually going to be able to keep the same strings on, so those won't change, and should be a pretty quick process here. So to me, the fingerboard and the neck material is one of those things where, like on a Telecaster, for example, I always feel like I can hear the difference between like a maple and a rosewood Tele. The maple sounds a little snappier. It sounds a little like brighter, but I've never tested it before. I've never actually had the opportunity to do what we're doing right now. So I'm more than willing and prepared to be completely wrong. I do think there is a slight difference in the sound based off of what the neck material is made of. But again, I've never actually tested it. So I don't know. Okay. So there's the Rosewood board off. Okay, so we're going to start with the maple. So this is the 50s road-worn maple neck. And it should, keyword here, should drop right in. There's actually a reason why Leo and company at Fender switched to doing rosewood fingerboards. Leo hated the way the maple fretboards were wearing and starting to show like dirt and grime. So the switch to rosewood was strictly an aesthetic one. He just thought it looked better and it wouldn't age like the maple boards did. And it worked. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's something here, man. Honestly, in my headphones, this sounds snappier to me. It sounds brighter. I don't know how it feels in the room, but close mic'd in the headphones, especially like on that, like, it's like I'm hearing more of the string and more like attack and more brightness than I was on the Rosewood. I mean, honestly, I went into this fully expecting to be proven wrong and that there's no difference whatsoever, but I'm honestly a little bit surprised the other way. Like, as soon as I started playing the Dire Straits thing, it was like, okay, this is different.
I feel like the Just Kiss My Baby was just like funkier.
It's snappier. It is snappier. At least what I just played on the low strings, like... And I was trying to hit the guitar the exact same way as before. I'm literally trying as best as I can to be in the same position, to play with the same dynamic. I'm playing to a click, so I'm playing in the same tempo. Like, I'm trying as best as I can to remove myself. And, dude, Okay, so now we're going to go from regular maple to roasted maple. So, again, the differences here are... no finish on this neck, really. I mean, there is a finish, but it's not like a polyurethane or a lacquer finish. There's another aspect to this. Like, we're sort of just focusing on the sound and the tone in general, but The other big difference was how different the guitar felt with the different necks. So this 50s Road Worn is a different shape. It's a thicker, like C shape than what comes standard on this guitar. I like the way this neck played and felt better, also because there's no finish on the back of the neck. And all of that stuff matters. If you're more comfortable on the guitar, it's going to make you play better. You feel better, you're going to sound better. So even if there is no actual difference between the sounds and the materials of these necks, there is still a case to be made for swapping the neck. You can kind of change the whole character of the guitar by doing this. This is like definitely in the category of things that no one listening to you play or listening to your band or listening to a record that you recorded on with this guitar, no one's ever going to notice or care about this. Like, no one is going to be sitting in the audience of your show thinking like, man, this is great, but I really wish that guitar player had a roasted maple neck instead of that rosewood board on his Strat. I think that would make this whole experience a lot better for me, honestly. Nobody cares except you. So if it matters to you, then it matters. If it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter. Yes, I realize the irony of being on this soapbox while I make a video about comparing neck woods to see if there's a difference in the sound.
You're one of the ones who cares.
I don't know. I'm curious. I care because I want to know. It's not going to make me change the way I play or the way I approach guitar or the way I approach music. I'm just curious. Yeah, I can hear it. There is an honest difference here. There's a real difference. There's a difference between all three. That's what's kind of blowing my mind right now. I would have expected a slight difference between the rosewood and the maple, but I thought the two maples were going to be indistinguishable. The biggest difference is between the rosewood and the maple. The maple is brighter and harsher and snappier. Even on the low string, on that low E string, like that da da da, you can hear it. So the roasted maple has the least amount of like low end and low mid range. It's very mid scooped. But there is a slight caveat here in that I think the roasted maple neck is a flatter radius than what the other two are. So I had to make some adjustments to the saddles. I had to raise both E strings, both saddles up a little bit. So when I first put the roasted maple neck on, I was getting a lot of fret buzz. So I'm wondering if the lack of low end that we're getting is due to that. The setup slightly changed. Even with that being the case, that bright top end that we're getting from the regular maple neck is still there with the roasted maple, and it's different than it is with the rosewood neck. That's crazy, man.
I can definitely hear it. The maple seems the brightest, like the top end is really harsh. The roasted maple is kind of a little darker, like slightly, and there's that weird mid thing. And the rosewood just sounds like kind of standard Strat.
I like the Rosewood the best.
Yeah.
I think it's the most, that's what I want to hear from a Strat. It's across all the pickups, the three different examples that we played. The maple is consistently brighter and snappier, like noticeably so. And that goes for both the finished fingerboard of the roasted maple and the unfinished fingerboard of the road worn. Like, the maple is brighter. It just is.
I'm genuinely shocked that it's this apparent.
I am too, man. Okay, so Chris and I just spent the last probably 15 or 20 minutes kind of really digging into these different audio files and listening to them. The maple necks consistently are brighter and snappier than the rosewood neck. The rosewood is warmer. It just is. When you listen to it back to back against the other two necks, this has less high end, it's less snappy, it's less bright. Of the three necks, I like this one best for this guitar, but it's totally subjective. I think I can say, like, this is a worthy thing to try out. I think this makes enough of a difference that it's worth considering. If you're changing the sound or the setup of your guitar, you want a slightly different tone, this is something to look at. Is it as effective as something like changing pickups? No. I think it's a bigger difference than a lot of other changes that people make on their guitars. And as far as I can tell, based off the test that we just did, it's real. But if you want to hear for yourself, I've posted the actual audio files, the unaltered raw wave files, in the description box down below. You can download those, drop them into your DAW, or if you've got like Isotope or RX and you want to look at it through like a spectral analyzer, if you want to get that nerdy with it, you can do that. The link is in the description box down below. Huge thank you to Sweetwater for allowing us to do this. This is the kind of thing that, you know, is a bit tough to test. You got to have the guitar and you got to have the necks and you have everything set up, and I wouldn't have been able to do this as easily as I did without their help. So thank you to Sweetwater. And if you want more information on this guitar or these necks, or if you're buying through Sweetwater and you want your guitar set up a specific way or modified at all, they can do that. So all that information is down in the description box. And also, please subscribe while you're down there as well. Like I said, still about half the people that watch this channel regularly are not subscribed, and it really helps me out when you click that red subscribe button down there. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Can you hear a difference? Does it matter? Do you care? Or do you think this is still all a bunch of BS? I want to know. I'm sure there'll be no shortage of healthy discussion in the comment section on this video. So awesome. My name's Rhett. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.